Anthony Hartwig here with a Canfield boys basketball player profile, first one of the year. Senior Dom Cruz joining us here. Thank you so much, Dom, for the time.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's talk about being a senior, what it's meant to you so far this year to come out and know that everything you're doing and you got to cherish it. It's your last go around with this Canfield team. What's that been like for you mentally?
I played basketball my entire life. It's a very young age, so I've never really played any other sports. And knowing it's my senior year, just trying to have fun this year, especially go far in the playoffs, and especially this team. This team means a lot to me. These are my best friends, and just trying to run it out one last time.
Couldn't ask for a better start. I mean, you've already broken some records this year. You're averaging a huge amount of points per game. What's it been like for you? Do you think being a senior has locked you in mentally?
Yeah, for sure. Maybe in the past couple of years, I've been a little passive. Not as aggressive on offense or on defense, but this year, knowing it's my last year, definitely locked in this year.
Let's talk about the way this season has gone. Obviously, not the way you want to start two losses in a row, and then you guys regroup like anything else. And now you're on an 8 game winning streak, and all of a sudden you're one of the top teams in the area when it comes to record and it comes to rankings. What was the talks after that first 2 games to really get everybody together, everybody on the same page, and what was the turnaround factor?
Especially after those two losses, practices picked up a lot. A lot of guys got in the gym, got getting up extra shots before practice, even after practice, and you can see that in the points we were scoring. A lot of guys scoring a lot more points now, playing a lot more defense, and we're a lot more of a well-rounded team than we were in the beginning.
You're not the only leader on the team. I mean, this team is full of just guys that know what they're doing and know how to lead young men that are on the team below them. How much of a blessing is it for you to be a part of a group that knows how to lead and you don't have all the leadership responsibilities on your shoulder?
Last year, pretty much for our entire team, besides me and a couple other guys, it was their first year playing varsity, and it was kind of a shock to them. But this year, a lot of guys got in the gym over the summer. Guys still get in the gym, and a lot of guys just know a lot about the game. And we're a very smart team of players, and it's nice.
Was that a conversation in the summer and the preseason? Like, hey, this isn't new to us anymore. No more excuses about being young. This is a team that has varsity experience now, and there's really no reason for us not to go out there and succeed.
Definitely, being a lot more of an experienced team means you're allowed to, expand a little more on the offense, have a little more freedom, and that's how you see a lot of guys playing a lot more free this year.
You're coached by one of the absolute legends in the area. I mean, what can you say about John Cullen? They named the court after him. That's how strong he is in the Canfield community.
Yeah.
500 career wins. There's probably going to be a statue of him outside of Canfield at some point. What's it like to see a guy like that come back to Canfield and want to end his coaching career, where he started it, and to care so much about this program?
It was great for the team. A lot of that really is what upped a lot of our knowledge of the game. He knows, he knows everything about the game down to angles, numbers, and he really taught us a lot of stuff like even we didn't know. And so that's helped our game a lot.
We're talking so much about how much you guys are scoring, and obviously there's a lot of offensive success right now in Canfield. But if you know anything about John Cullen, defense is
Yep.
first with him, and you're always going to be a defensive team. How much pride do you guys take in your defense?
That's the majority of our practices, is defensive drills, defensive breakdown. Usually after every possession, we're taking a stop and making sure we're doing everything right. Usually there's something we did wrong. So, we've gotten a lot better on that end.
People think with the way you're shooting that you're probably spending most time in practice shooting, but that's not the case. Like you said, John Cullen
Nope.
loves the defensive practice. So when do you guys do get the time to get those shots up and to lock down like you do and to be such a good shooting team? Where does that come from?
Before games, before practices, after practices,
Mhm.
me and a couple guys will always stay after. We'll get on the gun, shoot for about an hour or so, especially before games. And we're getting there about 3 hours before even our JV game to get some shots up. And, that's increased our percentage a lot this year.
When you think about your career and you think about a little freshman Dom Cruz and the way you've grown to now you're being a senior, what are some of the biggest changes you've seen throughout your senior career in your game?
The first 3 years of high school, I was really just categorized as a shooter, which, I definitely still like to shoot, but this year I've really expanded my game to, a little more defense, definitely a little more in the paint. I've been driving a lot lately, And I've really just well-rounded my game a lot more this year.
One of the few players that likes to wear that number 0. Is there a story behind the number? Is there something that makes you wanna pick that one? Is there a story behind it?
My whole life, my dad's taught me that no matter what has come across your path, there's zero excuses. Everybody
Mm.
has something to deal with, and you just got to push through it. So yeah.
How much, this is a personal question, but how much do you get the comparison to Tom Cruise? Because name's so close. Action star, you're having such a good season. I mean, I've already made the joke a couple of times on broadcast. You have to hear it all the time too.
A lot of people actually think my name is Tom Cruise sometimes because when you say Dom Cruise, sometimes you hear the T, and I'll get that a lot. So yeah,
When you think about action stars, I don't think there's too many people that you want to be compared to more than the
yeah,
guy that does almost all of his own stunts. Do you
yep.
think if you were in an action movie, how many of your own stunts do you think you could do?
Honestly, probably not many. I give a lot. I give a lot of props to that. That's pretty hard to do.
Dom's like, I can shoot a ball, but don't ask me to jump out of a window anytime soon.
No, no.
Um, so let's talk about just things you're going to reflect on, things you're proud about. You know, you're going through your senior year, you're going to have senior night. It's when you can get really reflective on your whole career. What are some things that you've accomplished that you're really proud about so far in your Canfield career?
Obviously, I just broke the single game 3-point record. That's definitely probably the thing I'm most proud of. Let me see. I just tied the all-time record this last game, so I'm excited to beat that. Look for a lot of. Hopefully this year we make it pretty far in the
Right.
playoffs. Last year was our first league championship in I think like 10 years, and we haven't won districts in over 20. So to win districts this year would be huge for us.
For people that don't know, he also broke that 3-point record in one half of basketball.
Yeah,
So just imagine what you could have done with 4 quarters. Whew.
yeah.
When you do something like that, when you have a game like that, and you've had a couple of them where your shots are just falling and you know it early, what's that like for you to just know like this is my night, things are going well, my form is looking good? What's that like for you?
Usually, we couple early times in the game, I try to get maybe some layups to, get my shot going. But I mean, if the time comes where my first shot's a three, and usually if that first three goes in, I know I'm locked in for the rest of the night.
This AAC that you play in, it's a grind. We just learned that Friday you had to hold off Austin Town Fitch, 51-48. You know, this AAC is not going to get any easier. What's it like going through a conference that is just a gauntlet every night? It's a small conference, but every game means that much more.
Yeah, especially with a small amount of teams, there's only so many games. So we really place a lot of value on winning those conference games, and knowing if you lose one, that can mean a serious dip in your spot.
Is there any team, it could be a conference team, it could be maybe just a local team that you guys play every year outside of Poland? We're going to take Poland, the 224 battle, out of the
Yeah.
equation because that's an easy answer. But is there any other team that you kind of get a little bit more amped up for, that you circle on the schedule and you just, whether it's because they're so competitive or there's a guy on that team that you love going up against, is there one that you circle a little bit more than the others?
I would definitely say Fitch. Fitch is always a pretty heated matchup for us every year. But especially this year, I know in February, I believe we play Warren, JFK.
Mm.
And, I know a lot of those guys on the team. We all know a lot of those guys on that team, and they're pretty good this year. So we're all pretty hyped up for that game.
Yeah, one of the things we learn about basketball of late with the growth of AAU is you get to learn a lot about the players that are outside of Canfield, and you get to play with and against so many players in the off season. What's that like for you to have such a big, strong basketball community? And obviously, you love Canfield, and it's Canfield first. But when you're playing these teams, you know a lot of these guys. You're friends with a lot of these guys. You know what their game's about. What's that been like for you?
It's great to know a lot of guys from a lot of schools, but at the end of the day, once you get on the basketball court, you're no longer friends, and it's just great competing with those guys. So
When you're playing someone that you know pretty well and you're friends with, does the competitiveness get a little bit amped up because it's like, hey, bragging rights on the line here?
oh, for sure. Especially when you're assigned to guard them, that's probably the best. So
Let's talk
yeah.
about future plans. Obviously, you're a senior, so we're going to have to say goodbye to you after the season. We don't like it, but it's reality. So, what are some of your future plans? What's going to be going on with Dom Cruz after you graduate high school?
I definitely plan on playing college basketball. That's been something I always wanted to do, and that's what I'm on track to do right now. So don't really know where yet, but
Right.
that's definitely the plan.
So since the decision hasn't been made yet, what I'm going to ask you is when you're looking at coaches, looking at programs, looking at campuses, what kind of things are you looking for? Like what kind of thing would make you feel at home in a program and you make that decision that you would want to be there?
Definitely as a coach, being able to be good friends with the coach, having a good connection, knowing that coach is going to push me to be the best player I can be is definitely something I look for. Program wise, definitely looking for a nice fit. Knowing where my game is going to make an impact on the team. That's something I definitely value probably the most. And teammates, definitely getting along with your teammates, having a good relationship with those guys. That's something I definitely look for as well.
Are you looking to travel a little bit or do you want to stay closer to home if you can?
I've been juggling that a lot. I definitely like to stay closer to home. I value my family a lot, so I'd like
Mhm.
to stay around here if possible.
If you go somewhere where you have to leave home and you have to go in and live on your own for a little bit in college, what's going to be a life skill that you're really nervous about having to, learn for yourself when you're not in the home anymore?
Whew, probably, probably cooking on my own. I got to learn about a lot of things to cook. So,
you know,
yeah.
everyone has that one home cooked meal that they have to learn before they leave the nest. What's the one home cooked meal that your family has that you got to make sure that you know how to make when you're not at home anymore?
Um, my family's Hispanic, and we make these things called pastelillos. It's like a fried dough with meat and veggies inside. I definitely want to learn how to make that before I leave.
What is your favorite meal to celebrate a big win? Post game meal. What are you going for?
Chipotle. I eat Chipotle probably 4 to 5 times a week. It's my favorite meal.
Is it the same order every time, or is the menu good enough for you that you can have multiple menu items?
No, I get the exact same order every time.
All right, we have to hear it. What's the Dom Cruz
All
order at
right.
Chipotle?
All right, it's pretty simple. I get 4 soft tacos with white rice and chicken and the hot salsa, and then a
Is
side of
that
rice.
winner leaves regardless? That's your post game meal,
Yeah,
or is
yeah.
Chipotle only for winners?
No, Chipotle's for winners and losers.
um, let's talk about some of the things that you do outside of basketball to kind of keep your mind out of the sport. Give yourself a little bit of a break when you need it. What are some of your hobbies outside of the sport?
Obviously kind of relates to sport, but lifting. I love
Mhm.
lifting. I lift probably 4 to 5 days a week still. I just like to work out. Maybe running, maybe lifting weights, but all of that is definitely most of my day. I have school takes up a lot of my time. I have
Right.
AP Calc right now. Whew, that takes up almost all my extra time. So
AP Calc, good on you because
yeah,
that would not be me at all. Is that
yeah,
kind of like is you more of a math person in school? Is that one of your favorite subjects?
yeah. That's definitely probably my favorite subject. And AP Calc is
Mhm.
all year. It's a long class, a lot of homework. So
When
yeah.
you're going through a class like that, I mean, obviously getting through it is tough. How much of a kind of proud achievement is it for you to, be able to work through a class like that and do basketball and juggle still being a kid? I mean, you got to be just proud that you're able to get through all that.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to juggle doing the fun stuff and doing school and basketball at the same time. But especially on the weekends, I kind of have to lock in with school and
Mhm.
stuff. Every couple Sundays when I have a test, I'll spend 5, 6 hours studying in a row. Sometimes you do have to give up hanging out with friends for a night to make sure you get a good grade on the test. So,
Hey, there's sacrifices to greatness, man. That's the
yep.
key. Before we let you go, Dom, I want to give you the chance to kind of thank your support system, all the people that have been there for you over the years. I want to give you the chance to shine a light on them and give as many shout outs as you want.
Yeah, first and foremost, definitely my family. They've poured everything into me my entire life. They've invested a lot of money into me, a lot of time. And they're definitely the reason I've been here. My dad's trained me my whole life, really my only trainer, and he's got me to where I am today. My coaches have also invested a lot of time in me. Even some of them who've only been here for a short time, pour everything into me, and I really appreciate that. My teammates, at the end of the day, you can't score a lot of points unless they pass to you. So definitely, big shout out to them. They give me my shots, and I appreciate that a lot. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it.
Dom, we want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your weekend to join us today, and we wish you the best of luck this year. We can't wait to talk again real soon.
Yeah, thank you.